It feels like the first time. It feels like the very first time.
It feels like the first time. It feels like the very first time.
I feel like you're clothed, if anything, right now.
Yep.
Yeah. And I would thank you to put on something a little bit more modest next time, Owen. Guys, welcome to the First Time Show. We're back.
We're back from last week.
I like to open a show with an old switcheroo. It's always a fun. I love a good old fashioned switcheroo.
Buzzing.
Guys, welcome to the First Time Show. Welcome back. For those of you that stuck around for The Leftovers, we just got done watching The Leftovers, and I haven't even gotten the taste of them leftovers out of my mouth. But here we are, the soonest we've ever jumped in to a new piece of content on the show ever. We have moved literally, since last week we were on Leftovers, and now we're on what debatably could be one of the best HBO shows ever made, potentially. I know it's a huge thing to say, but I'm saying potentially because what they set up in this first episode is pure fucking horror movie fan bliss. And HP Lovecraft fan
but did
bliss.
you watch this season on Lovecraft Country at the end after the credits?
Yes, we
Yes.
did. Owen, I knew Owen
It's gonna
would.
be a
Owen,
fucking ride.
no!
But I'll tell you
I
what.
thought we weren't watching things.
But here's the thing.
We can watch whatever exists. We're watching this one real time, Owen.
No, I don't like what I went in totally blind. I didn't watch any trailers or
Listen,
anything.
every week we watch Watchmen, and I never watched the next time on, and everyone got mad at me, so I watched it this time. Don't you dare.
That's
I can't
true,
just always
but-
be getting in trouble.
Well,
that's
here's
true,
the
but
deal.
so far that's different.
Well, here's the deal. It doesn't even if you
Look, no one is a better film watcher than another based on if they watch the next time on.
That's true, but here's the thing, and that's a good point,
Thanks,
Alana. But
You're welcome, children.
Journey Smollett, who plays
What's her name?
her name is Journey, Jurnee Smollett. She plays Leticia.
The lead incredible
Letty.
female everything
Who's
and
just-
so also beautiful.
I mean,
My
pardon my
God.
French, she's a smoke show. So
I watched
Clean up the
Birds
language.
of Prey yesterday.
No, you did
And
not.
we were watching this today.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
it
'cause
yet.
she's Black Canary, and I just wanted to see what she did
is
last.
Black Canary, and
So,
she's so great in that movie. That was
She's
just
great.
okay.
that
But
was unnecessary at best.
But Journey Smollett, who plays Leticia in the show Lovecraft
Letty.
Country, Letty, she tweeted out just as the episode was ending, and this isn't a spoiler, but she tweeted, "Y'all weren't ready, and just so you know, that's episode 1. You're in for a wild adventure this season. Hashtag Lovecraft Country HBO, hashtag Lovecraft, hashtag Letty Lewis." She just put her own name in her hashtag.
Yes, of course. Fuck
And
yes.
at Lovecraft HBO. Hashtag Brett yes.
Oh.
Thank you, Letty.
But anyway, so
we
even
should
if
say
you
there's
didn't
gonna be
watch
spoilers, right?
even if you didn't watch
Wait,
the
what?
Well, hold on,
Oh
hold on,
yeah,
hold on,
we
hold
know
on,
we
hold on,
should
hold on.
say there will be
Even
spoilers of
if-
episode 1
Excuse
on
me.
this.
Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Even
No
if
book spoiler.
even if no one can know what that is yet. But
Can we get the baby a microphone?
shut your mouth about what that was. Shush. It's a secret. Shh. But even if you didn't watch the next on or the preview for the whole season, they did like an extended preview at the end of the episode.
Owen.
And if you're like Owen, I considered not watching it too, but that's not the point. If you also didn't watch it like Owen, it's okay because that tweet is just as good as watching that preview because the preview really features some insane shit and I'm very excited about it. And I can't wait to jump in, but I want to do some housekeeping first. I first want to introduce all of my lovely co-hosts, hosts, show peoples. Alana Fickes is back with us for this season, everybody. Let's see. I got cheering here. There we go.
Oh, I Arigato
There we
gozaimasu.
go.
Hi,
Arigato
hi.
gozaimasu.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Brett Register, of course, is back again as well.
Here.
And I'm using too many dynamic banter clips. Mike's gonna call me any second, and with an angry, leave me an angry voicemail. That's right, I know. You shut your mouth. You don't work on the weekend, you piece of shit. But Brett, I'm glad you're back. I'm very excited to have you back. You're a good boy.
Me
And
too.
This was
I'm
your
happy-
idea.
This is
This whole thing was your idea.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw you under
I
the
didn't
bus.
read the book yet. But I
Yeah.
really, really want to. Yeah, I have it. The second we're done with this, I'm gonna read
Here's
it.
what we do.
In the shadows.
Let's do our first ever first time show book club. As soon as we're done with this season, we'll all read the book and then we'll come back for an episode where we talk about the book. How about that?
I don't know if I can read horror. Watching it.
Well, I'll read it to you.
Okay.
I mean, I'm for
Easy.
it. I was gonna read it, and I just felt like it was getting too close, and it wouldn't make any sense
Yeah.
for me to read it and then watch it.
Yeah.
And then
I
the
was afraid I would be
monster-
reading it while we were watching it.
Then the
What?
monsters started coming through the woods, and then they ran even faster and faster.
All right, so here's the deal.
No, introduce Owen.
Well, oh yes, Owen Carter. I'm sorry, Owen's back, and
the
I'm
man in the dark.
I'm so happy. Well, it's just because I can barely see him.
He's fading away.
Owen,
He's in that little cabin at the end of episode 1.
yeah,
Without the lights.
which I got total Evil Dead vibes from, but we can talk about that in a bit. But I did want to say welcome to the show. On this show, we're going to be covering Lovecraft Country. And normally the format of this show is someone hasn't seen it, someone loved it, someone didn't like it. And but that we don't do that when we do a new show. And this is the second time we've done a new show, and it feels like this one is being knocked out of the park already in the first episode. But who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens. It seems like it's going to be a ride, but basically we're going to do episode by episode, and we are going to be spoiling the episode. So if you haven't watched it yet, please watch it and then come back, because we're going to fucking really dig into this shit, and we're all nerds here. And
Can I say we were nervous? Because you're always nervous with a new show. If like, oh, we did a new show one time and it wasn't so good, we had to stop.
Yeah.
And you're a little nervous about that.
we
and
have PTSD,
Yeah, and as soon as
post-traumatic show disorder.
exactly. As soon as this episode started,
Post
though.
terrible show disorder.
Post-terrible
terrible.
series disorder.
Gross.
Oh, gross, terrible
Wow.
series disorder. It's a cheers.
I still
G-
haven't finished the season.
No, I'm not gonna.
I never finished watching
And
it.
Are we gonna not name what show it was?
And from my
Everyone's
mouth
staying
to
quiet.
I don't
God's
wanna upset
ears, I hope
anybody.
you never finish it. But
But
what
this show, in the first like minute, we were like, "Oh, no problem. This is gonna be." And by the end of it, we're like, "This is gonna be the best show that's ever existed on the
Dude, in
planet."
the first minute of this show, Jackie Robinson saves him from Cthulhu.
Jackie
Like,
Robinson hits Cthulhu with a baseball bat and destroys it.
Oh, I didn't know who Jackie Robinson was. Cool.
Yeah.
Jackie Robinson was the first African American professional baseball player.
Jeez, Alana, why don't
Played
you
for
do
the
it? No, just
Brooklyn
kidding.
Dodgers.
Brookie Doge.
Now the Los Angeles Dodgers.
LA
Dodgers.
Doge. Wait, the
That'll-
Dodgers used to be
And,
Brooklyn and now they're
the-
LA?
Yeah,
Here's
how
another-
about them Brooklyn Dodgers? You don't remember anybody ever saying that? Hey, how about you have a slice of
No,
pizza pie?
I don't remember anyone ever saying that.
It's been
Um,
I'm sorry, it just got me. I was vulnerable in that very second of sound.
all right, well, here's the deal. We're
Well,
abs-
We'll save it for our baseball
We're absolutely
podcast.
out of our minds. We're sorry if we go off track, and we're bonkers. It's late at night. Some of us are high as fuck,
And we're bonkers in love with this show.
and we're bonkers in love with this show so far. But you know, let's take it
So
easy,
far,
all right?
okay.
Let's take a deep breath. It's a very fucking cool show. Everybody's got a lot to say, but I just wanted to welcome everybody to the show, and I did want to say
I mean,
that.
that Journey actress did say season 1. She designated
I know,
like
I
as
love to
there
hear
might be
it.
more than a season 1.
I mean, we'll see. Look, again,
Wow,
let's
wow,
calm
wow,
down.
wow.
Let's take a deep breath.
Okay.
But first of all, I want to say that Owen is probably going to just pop in from time to time. And I'm really excited to say that this show is incredibly diverse and incredibly, it's exactly what we want to see on TV
The
right
one we're
now.
watching.
Yes, not what you're watching
I'm
right
like,
now. Lovecraft Country is incredibly diverse, and exactly the kind of show we need right now, and exactly the kind of show we want to see. We want to see more of this. We want to see more awesome African American actors being in normal like sci-fi horror movie roles, and I love it, and it's great. So to reflect that, it shouldn't just be a bunch of white fucking people on this show talking about it. So because Owen also is enjoying the show, and we love Owen, and we want him in, Owen's going to be a revolving guest.
I just realized you're as excited as you were, the same kind of excited when you came back from watching Black Panther.
Yeah. And Watchmen, dude. I'm so excited to see it. I remember Black Panther felt so good. It felt so good. It felt like for once, because I remember Malcolm was like, dude, we've got like basically like an all black cast on a poster for a fucking Marvel movie. And it's like, that's gorgeous. That's beautiful. That's a win for anybody of color. And
for anybody,
any person of color,
or not color,
or
anybody,
not color, for anybody.
Bodies.
Well, yeah, as a residual effect, it should be wonderful for everybody.
It is a win for everyone to have
It's a win
diversity
for
shown
everybody.
in media.
I think you guys
Absolutely.
just stop disrespecting people without bodies.
Oh man, that's the one we're gonna be hit with in 10 years or something. So the thing I want to say is that Malcolm was just like so happy about it, and I remember being so proud for my friends and for our brothers and sisters of this planet, and it was really exciting times, and it feels similar in a way of seeing a show like this being headlined by wonderful people of color and wonderful actors, and I'm just really excited about it. So to reflect that wokeness and wonderfulness of diversity, we'd love to be able to show a little diversity on this show as well. So hopefully we'll be able to have some of our friends on who are people of color and get their opinions on a show that probably is emotionally amazing for them in a way that we'll never understand. And that's a beautiful thing. And so we should celebrate shows like this. And
Whatever, you got your own Pixar movie.
yeah, exactly. And then Soul's coming, and then I saw that there was an Italian one coming, right? Italy?
Oh, yeah, the new, something.
There
was like a picture they posted or something.
Yeah. Anyway, but man, I still want
What
to
about
see. I want to see
Rhea, the I don't know what kind of Asian she is. Southeast Asian.
the dragon
somewhere
one?
in there. Yeah, with all the dragon imagery.
Yeah.
Her name is Rhea, or I don't
You're
know if
talking
she
about the new
pronounces
Disney
it Raya.
movie?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called, but
I think it's called her name.
I still want to see a Pixar Bollywood movie
Oh my
done all
God.
colorful like Coco. But anyway, let's not get too
I can't
off.
talk about any of this shit. We gotta move on.
All right, so
I know too much.
all
We
right.
gotta,
Oh shit! Shut your mouth, Brett.
Oh.
Sip your whiskey.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
want to get in trouble.
Here's the deal. Very excited to talk about this show. So welcome to the show. Basically, we're just going to go through episode by episode, and then we'll talk a little bit about our opinions, and then we'll read your emails. So if you want to send in your
Well,
thoughts.
first we'll play clips.
Oh, yeah, we do clips. We do all sorts of shit. You'll get the hang of it. But the email portion of the show is very important because we love your feedback. We love your analyses. We love your perspectives. It shines a fun light on it. It makes us this community of people nerding out about a cool show. And we really like them. So if you'd like to contribute to the email portion of the show, we basically don't skip an email unless it's way too long.
I wonder who the Dan gets to be this season.
I was
I
going to say you should say
know.
the rules of emails. Not too long.
Well, yeah, but
You
also
have a very short time limit because it's a live show.
here's the deal. If you're a person of color, it doesn't matter how long your email is. I'll read it.
But how do you just designate it at the top or something?
Yeah, you have to prove
All
it.
right.
No, now we're getting
Send a
into
picture.
scary shit.
Yeah, that's creepy.
I'm just kidding. But keep your emails brief, please, because we're by the time we get to the end of this. But also we're going to learn very quickly that doing one episode at a time will be significantly shorter than the leftovers episodes. Where
I
we
don't
talk
know.
about
These
two at
have a
time.
lot of depth to talk
For sure.
about.
I'm sure there's a lot to talk about, but you'll be surprised
All right.
how much shorter they could be, which is always good for us who have busy schedules and shit. But anyway,
Schedules.
so emails. Please send in your emails, your thoughts on the show. If you're watching the show along with us, we'd love to hear your thoughts. So please send those emails to thefirsttimeshow@gmail.com. And And one last thing before we get started.
Oh my God.
There is a Valley Folk P.O. box, and somebody sent something to the First Time Show. So I wanted to get that out of the way and just find out what that is, and it came with a little letter too. So I wanted to read that really quick. If you guys are okay with it.
Yes.
I know this seems like something you
excited.
do at the end of a show, but I'm just so excited that someone
And
actually
it's
sent...
probably going to be leftovers themed, so you might as well get it done.
Yeah, so it says to the First Time Show, BB Boys and Summer Girl. And it's a wonderful
nice.
card. It says
I like that.
It says thank you so much. It looks like my mom picked it.
That's true.
It says, Dear Steve, Brett, and Alana.
That's a long email.
My name is Olive, and I'm a big fan of the First Time Show. I run a small business hand-painting custom wooden signs, and I thought I would spread some love to you guys. Hopefully this reaches you before the end of The Leftovers, but if not, I can't wait to see what's next. First Time Show is genuinely my favorite podcast. I'm so glad there is a corner of the internet where I can listen to people geek out and analyze some amazing television shows. Lost, Watchmen, and now Leftovers are some of my favorite TV shows, and I never would have watched them if it wasn't for you. Thank you for all the laughter and smiles. My shop is... Oh, sorry, no plugs. I'm just kidding. My shop is at Lemon Sunshine Creations, all one word, on Instagram. Love Olive. Hashtag Brett, yes. Hashtag Alana, yes. Hashtag magic fucking hugs. Hashtag jackpot. Where's my leftovers clips? Here she is.
My jackpot?
Jackpot.
And hashtag Kevin. Oh, I don't have a Kevin. I deleted them all. Hashtag respect the format. Thank you, Olive. Let's see what this fucking thing is.
Man, you know what's fucked up?
It's wrapped up in a nice little thing. It had a cute little bow on it.
What's
That-
fucked up?
That probably would have been here
Been.
before you guys finished Leftovers.
What the fuck? There's another letter in here. It says it's a beautiful thing that says respect the format. It's
Oh,
a
I want to see.
There you go.
It looks like it's painted
And
on wood.
check this out, guys. A First Time Show little wooden hangy sign.
What?
If we ever go back to
Let me
the
see.
office, we
Yeah.
can hang that up.
This could hang.
Oh my gosh, and it's glittery.
This could hang behind
my
one of
heart
us.
and soul full of glitter.
Alana's got some white space she could fill.
Can you
Yeah, Alana, can you set it on that speaker or the couch? Yeah.
well,
Wow,
It's a
she
lamp,
wrote
Owen.
the same
It's a
letter
lamp.
twice on different cards.
Well, what if one
Now
got
I'm
lost?
kind of creeped out. I'm just kidding.
is this gonna
Backup card.
It is exactly the same thing. She says, I wanted to make a little something
Alana, don't
to show my
skimp.
love.
Just put a nail in the wall.
I will. Just not while we're recording.
All
maybe.
right. Let's get
Right now it says it's the first Tim show.
Welcome,
It is.
welcome to the first show about Tim ever.
Wow.
Today we're
talk
talking
about
about
Tim.
Tim Curry.
Yeah.
All right.
Tim, guys.
Let's get started, guys. Welcome to the show. Let's talk about love.
First episode, Tiny.
Let's talk about Tiny Tim for a second here.
What was the name of the first episode? I didn't catch it.
It was called Sundown,
Yeah.
and it was directed by Jan Demridge.
Oh,
Demin.
Get
Demange.
ready. Get ready
Demange.
for
Right in.
Steve's pronunciation.
Right in with
Dumange.
the
Demange. Jan Demange is a French-Algerian film director. He's executive producer and director on Lovecraft Country.
Oh, he's an EP.
And it looks like I don't know. I guess we could look him up on IMDb if you guys are curious about his other
Jan
credits.
Demange.
Looks like we've got something called 71 from 2014. Dead Set. He directed Dead Set. Are you familiar, Brett?
Dead set.
Dead Set
I'm
was
not.
The picture is
It was
it's
like-
black with a red eyeball.
It's like Big Brother during a zombie outbreak, but everyone in the house is unaware that they're made to believe that a real zombie apocalypse is happening.
Ooh, that's
And they're
You
in
can watch it right now on Netflix.
It's called Dead Set. Yeah. Anyway, back to Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft.
Go to-
Kapkun Krab.
Guys, Sundown is the first episode of the first season of Lovecraft Country. God damn, I was going to jump on that. And was written by Misha Green.
Cool.
Let's see what Misha Green has done. Misha Green is an American television writer and producer.
She developed this show.
She
She's
did?
co-creator and the
Yeah.
showrunner of Lovecraft Country.
Yeah.
She's the showrunner. Oh, I thought Jordan
Peele
Peele.
and Abrams are executive producers. And Misha probably figured it all out, put the whole thing together, and then needed them to really get it made and
to
going.
make it so
Yeah.
good.
She's the Damon of this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This show is
So right out the gate, this did the same thing I feel like that Watchmen did, where it had such a good intro that it's impossible to not be immediately into
Right.
wherever it wants to go.
yeah.
Right.
There's like, because I talked to my brother about it, and I showed him that little teaser with Cthulhu, and he's like, "Well, they're not gonna give you Cthulhu in episode 1." And I texted him, and I'm like, "Cthulhu's in the first minute."
Well, I remember thinking like, first of all, I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm in love with this show already. And then I was like, oh no, it's a dream sequence. And then I was like halfway,
yes.
and then halfway through the episode, I was like, oh man, did they do that like crazy Lovecraft bonkers intro? Because it's going to be a while before we see any cool Lovecraftian things. And I was so wrong. And I love that I was so wrong. And we ended up getting an interpretation of a Lovecraftian species.
Can I request a brief description? Because we started watching the episode, and Steve had to pause it because he started saying things about Lovecraft, and I was like, I'm sorry, what's Lovecraft? I didn't watch anything before the show either. No pictures, no teasers, whatever. I didn't know who Lovecraft is.
H.P. Lovecraft.
H.P. Lovecraft. Sounds like all of you guys have a knowledge of this. Could you give me like a little...
I mean, listen, if you grow up a little nerdy, you're gonna read a little H.P.
Yeah.
Lovecraft.
Nerdy in
and,
which way?
Here, here.
Sci-fi nerdy.
Sci-fi nerdy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Star
like
Trek.
Trek
Sci-fi.
alone.
sci-fi fantasy, I guess.
Sci-fi
yeah.
fantasy,
Okay.
yeah.
He created Cthulhu, which is I think the most popular thing that he did.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong there?
No, I
But
think you're right.
it has come out I didn't know this till I was an adult, that he was probably problematically unfair to other races.
Yes.
Oh.
The kindest way I can say it.
I also did not
I
know
didn't
that.
read. I honestly didn't read a lot of it, and quite transparently, I need to circle back with my parents because I remember my mom being like, "No, you can't read that," and I was like, "Oh, it must be really good if she's saying I can't read that." And I'm curious
Yeah.
if she's like, "No, it's like,
Not good.
racist
I'm
material
still-
halfway
Yeah.
through." So
I'm still
let's
curious.
keep you away from that.
Well, around what years was he publishing, just to get a like era date?
Oh,
if I may.
1900, 18...
1900s.
No, seriously.
let me-
I know, but
like
that's kind of broad.
It says he was born in 1890.
Okay.
So 1930s, early 1930s was kind of like
Is
when
that what
his...
it says, or you're guessing?
I'm guessing
I'll
because there's a photo here of
He
him
died.
from
He died in
1934.
37.
He died in 1937.
And he was 46.
yeah, young.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
somewhat young.
He died in
Young.
poverty, apparently.
Does it say what he died of?
In poverty. It doesn't say what he died
In
of,
poverty.
no.
He died
Poverty,
of
North Carolina.
He died of
in
poverty.
poverty.
I mean, I think
Oh,
you could
God.
die of poverty.
wow.
Welcome to
He was at the
poverty.
center. He was at the center
He's
of
a
a
sinner?
wider body of authors known as the Lovecraft Circle.
Ooh.
The group wrote stories that frequently shared details among them.
I feel like
Cool.
wasn't L. Ron Hubbard involved in that in some
That
way?
sounds likely.
I don't know. It says he was also a prolific writer of letters. According to some estimates, he wrote approximately 100,000 letters over the course of his life.
Yeah, but
In
has he
these
seen how
letters,
many
he
texts
discussed-
I've sent?
He discussed his worldview, his daily life, and tutored younger authors,
Oh, that's nice.
such as 3 authors I've never heard of.
I don't give a fuck, Beckety-Goo.
All right. Let's jump into this show,
He
shall
was
we?
Alana-
virtually unknown during his lifetime.
Okay.
Yeah, just like Van Gogh.
Yep.
Alana, all
He
of his.
exclusively published in pulp magazines before he died in poverty at the age of 46.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Oh wait, Owen, what are you saying,
wow.
please?
Oh, his monsters.
Sorry, I'm just bringing a little information.
No, Brett, please.
No, I was
Listen.
just throwing in his monsters inspired a lot of like Stephen King and John Carpenter kinds of stuff.
Ah.
So a lot of the creature things we've seen from his whatever descriptions and all that crazy, like the blob monster with 100 eyes or whatever that was.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And yeah, Lovecraft inspired a lot of sci-fi horror writers, and movies like In the Mouth of Madness and a lot of Guillermo del Toro creatures and stories are kind of very Lovecraftian. And the Lovecraftian style, Mike Mignola kind of utilized that in the Hellboy comics and stuff like that. But blessings, many blessings to you and yours, and even your family. But anyway, so this episode, Sundown, was fucking great, amazing, bonkers. What the fuck is going on? And then you're just thrown right into it. And I loved all the music.
Thrown to the wolves, or are they other things?
Score.
Let's see. Let's
It was
see.
incredible.
Let's see. Let's see.
Can I say something about the show?
Absolutely not. Everyone's silent while I look for the. Everyone, shut your mouth.
Steve and I, at the end of the show, decided this is Stranger Things for intelligent adults.
Well, I listen.
Or at least I felt that. You don't want to
you
claim
said
it?
that. I wanted to say it's like Stranger Things for adults.
Oh, I added intelligent.
Because the intelligent part, I mean, a lot of people love Stranger Things.
Well, I just feel like the gap between Stranger Things and this is more than just child to adult. It's like child to adult times 10.
I really like the first season
No.
of Stranger Things.
Stranger Things is like, remember how great the 80s were? This is like, hey, remember how shitty the history of our country is?
Yeah, but that's true. But just in the way that they're having us kind of have a little bit of otherworldly stuff and have these like creatures to be fearing, and having also like the whole thing takes place in history. Because like all the little details, what I was paying attention to, what I noticed is like costumes, fabrics, textures, like the walls and the things they're using, like the props, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was relating those things to Stranger Things, just like the Stranger Things, like that's great and all, but they probably just made it out of plastic. But in this movie, everything was like the real fabric and texture and actually antiqued and worn, and everything was
ridiculous.
so beautiful.
Yeah, it has awesome design.
Yeah. Someone named Laura Karpman is the composer, along with someone else credited. There are 2 people credited for 10 episodes each, so they must have either worked together or split up the episodes or something. But his name is Raphael Sadiq.
Cool.
And it looks like he did Mudbound, Brown Sugar, Abduction, and Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Trace.
And Laura Karpman did Underground, Paris Can Wait, Taken, and The Beguiled.
You're talking about the composers?
Yes.
Yeah. I think
This feels like a big step up.
I think the Taken she did was not the
Liam
Neeson movie. It was that Spielberg produced show.
Oh, it was that show, yeah, about aliens, yeah.
Mm.
Oh.
Anyway,
interesting.
man.
I like that it was a little more of a like classical, like movie score, like with action music
Same.
and stuff. I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Man, it drove it.
Yeah.
I was shocked at how big the score was
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
for the first episode. I'm interested to see if that carries through the series,
Right.
or if they just spent a little extra time because it was the pilot. But yeah, I thought that was a big element of what I liked about it so much.
I love their integration of popular music too. Just
that
enough
was
that
great.
you were like, "Oh, I can feel it."
Big fan of that. It's nothing new, but I'm always a
But
fan
they
of
did
it when
it well.
it's done well.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when it started with the song from Clue, shaboom shaboom.
Oh yeah.
Life Could Be a Dream. Yeah. I was like, oh, I mean, I like the song. You know, it's always kind of fun when you get to do
But
something.
then didn't she make fun of that song on stage later?
Yeah.
I was worried
She's
that
like,
it was
life
going to be
could
a
be
little
a
more like.
dream, or like, what did she say? I don't know. Whatever. She did make fun of it.
No, I thought it was going to be like a little more like obvious and traditional, and I was like, okay, that's fine, it's fun. But then it got like they made fun of that, and then it went off into its like much better territory. Like now it's good. It's really good.
I really liked how like it felt like an 80s movie sort of in the sense that like everybody is like a comic book nerd and or like, you know, the main guy is like a comic book nerd, and his comic book and science fiction.
Yeah, I think science fiction nerd is probably.
Well, his science fiction obsessions help him to get out of like real life horror situations, and that's like a super 80s trope to me that I absolutely loved. Done well.
Was it his niece or cousin?
Well, his niece or cousin, yeah, because those are his. That's his aunt.
No, that's his cousin. Yeah.
Yeah.
She seemed to be taking the same ideas. It's you're right. It has all that like, for us, a group of 4 white people, it feels very comfortable and familiar.
Yeah.
It's a familiar type of storytelling. The difference is, if this had been made in the 80s, the whole cast would have been white.
Yeah.
And the racist white cops and firefighters that are chasing them down would have just been like, oh, they're aliens. It's like a body snatcher.
Or like they would have just been like, you know, the caricature of like a shitty sheriff who's just a bully or something. Because I feel like
well, it's almost like I can't imagine that type of person existing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they did, and they were horrifying. But it's like, to me, it's almost why I think this is so fun that they're marrying this kind of like, you know, taking a really hard look at the past of this country, but also marrying it with sci-fi is like, this shit that happened for real in this country is so fucking bananas.
It's like a horror movie.
It's like a science fiction movie. Yeah,
it's like a dystopian. How could this reality be real? This is a terrifying vision of a dystopian future. But no, it happened to these people, and it happened to a lot of people. And but yeah, no, I think you're right. And that's kind of the point I was going to make, was that like, you know, it felt cool to see like all these really fun 80s tropes. And I also love that like the uncle is also like,
and the aunt
is all into space and the stars, and like
I love that that's their like family like thing that they all
they're
know
into astrology.
and do.
They're like nerds. They're basically
astronomy.
Astronomy. My bad. I fucked up. But I do love that they're all into like astrology and
astronomy.
Whatever. I love that they're all into science fiction and science and space and shit. And but it's a black family, and that's so cool. Like
it is.
It's cool because they never show that shit. Like I feel the same way. I feel the same damn way.
Well, honestly, you're saying 80s, but this is more 60s. This is like
it feels very 60s to me.
What did the movie what was the movie called? The Egyptian
Cat's Eye?
Them.
Oh, Them, yeah.
Them with the giant ants.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of that vibe.
Yeah, well, I feel like, you know, there's always in Lost Boys, there's the Frog Brothers, or that are like the vampire hunter experts.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And they're just kids who read comic books and had all that knowledge and used it to fight
like,
the
or
monsters.
Monster Squad.
Or like there's so many of them.
Well, I
like
think if
explorers,
there was a boomer on this podcast with us, they'd be saying, well, that came from the content we did in the 60s, and you're feeling like it's 80s because that's when you watched it first.
Well, yeah, like Joe Dante directed
get one of those
Explorers.
boomers.
And Joe Dante
and if we had a
grew up
Gen
watching
Z
the 50s
this.
and 60s movies, and that's why they were all inspired by that shit.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
obviously. Very obviously.
Does it say what year it's supposed to take place in on
1955, I think,
55?
or 50.
Does it say on there? Because I'll Google it.
It
separate.
doesn't say. It doesn't say on
Or
there.
I'll let you do it.
I'll look
maybe.
it up.
All right.
But I just loved that there was such a cool 80s like horror movie vibe to it. Especially when the creatures started to attack, and then even though it was scary and tense and the action was really well done, there were still moments of comedy that you're just kind of like, oh fuck, you can just relax and buckle up and enjoy this like roller coaster that's like super fun. and it's not just fucked up, and it is fucked up, and there is a lot of really scary shit in it, and arguably the racists are scarier than the monsters, and that's how they're kind of like making it.
100%.
But it's still also kind of like a fun horror thing going on too, and I think it's just an important thing for horror fans to see. There's not enough of this kind of thing done this way, and really love it. That's my whole take on it. I mean, I have lots more to say, obviously, but that's my initial take on the whole vibe.
I thought it was really smart that they bookended the episode with science fiction.
Right.
And so you got a little up front, and then it was a whole episode of like, hey, the real world was like science fiction at this point. And I mean, still to this day in some places. But in the end, I like that they turned that corner, and it's like, you know, mirroring those two things was really smart, but also really like jarring and unexpected, and kind of like, oh, here we go. Like you said, you didn't know if it was going to be a dream, if it was going to be a metaphor the whole time, all in his head. But it's like, I liked that in the first episode they sort of set the table in a way that it's like, yeah, like she said in that tweet, it's like, we're just getting started. This is going to be fucking bananas from here.
Well,
and in the preview that Owen didn't watch, it looked like what if Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was like the most amazing thing you've ever seen?
Yeah, because I got really cool. Because you really get Indiana Jones vibes from it for some reason. Because it looks like they're in
like a
temples
treasure hunt.
It looks like
shit.
X-Men, Indiana Jones, 1960s.
It's like X-Files.
It's pulp. Well, the thing is, like, all of those
pulp,
Indiana Jones, like Star Wars, it's all just pulling.
What's pulp?
Like
magazine.
those comics.
What is pulp?
It would be like adventure.
It's a genre?
It was very simplistic, like
they were
genre
comics.
storytelling. So if it's sci-fi, it's like we're in space and it's sci-fi. If it's adventure, it's like we're in the jungle and we're hunting for treasure. It was all very simplistic, and George Lucas cites that as a big influence on sort of all of him and Steven Spielberg's work.
Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, and I'm for the first time starting to realize what that probably means.
Right.
It says here the term pulp derives from the cheap wood pulp paper on which the magazines were printed.
Oh, I see. Cool. I thought pulp was just like orange bits in your juice.
It is.
Well,
it turns out.
Well, that's what we call the bad. That's the bad pulp. This is the good pulp.
You're a pulp denier.
No, I like pulp. I just don't like too much.
I'm not trying to chew my beverages, Alana.
I have a friend who
someone didn't like Orbits.
Who's like OCD against pulp. If she gets a cocktail and it comes with any pulp in it, she's like, all right, that's yours.
Erotic? Don't be ridiculous.
Well, guys,
were those Nazis at the end?
At the end?
Yeah, who knows? Because I mean,
that led him into the house.
I know the girl in the car was earlier, but basically,
wait, the girl in the car was a Nazi.
Well, because
what?
They're
they're super Aryan looking.
In my reading, not only was H.P. Lovecraft felt like the white race was superior to black people, he also sort of agreed with Hitler and the overall, like, Aryan race is better than the rest of them. So I think that's a direct nod to Lovecraft.
Yeah, maybe these like escaped Nazis who are like trying to like.
Are you guessing that they're
something?
Are you guessing that they're Nazis?
Yeah,
or okay? Because I thought you maybe saw some insignia or something that I missed. Okay.
Oh, and
yeah, interesting. They are very Aryan. Those like silver car folk.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're alien.
Or maybe they're
alien or Aryan.
They're like the absolute prototypical Aryan white person.
What was that? What did she do with the car that made the truck flip? Was that some like secret Nazi technology?
Yeah,
no, I love that it was like this far away.
Yeah.
on my screen.
Must be something going on.
They purposely showed that there was like a force field around the car or something.
I'm kind of bummed that there's a book because there's going to be so many people going like, ooh, just wait, and it's like, can't we all just for once be in the dark together on some kind of cool shit? But we already were spoiled by Watchmen, sort of. So even though it was still based on something, but
in the book, is the idea that the book was written about white people and that's like a switch or?
No. It's
when was this book written?
We should have Ben Meckler on. He read the book.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Let's just call
We
him.
want a book POV.
Let's get another white person on the show
Yeah.
for the first episode.
But what is this book you guys are referencing? Is it recently
It's called
written?
Lovecraft Country.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a recent book that's a take on the.
Alana can't take this shit.
Yeah. More recent
Enough of
book
that.
has to do. It's doing this with. I'm guessing it's the same story.
Lovecraft Country is a 2016 dark fantasy horror novel by Matt Ruff, exploring the conjunction between the horror fiction of H.P. Lovecraft and racism in the United States during the
Okay.
era of Jim Crow laws.
Great. Don't read
There you
anymore.
go. That's
Published
it.
by HarperCollins.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know,
329
like,
pages.
That's enough, Brett. Get out of there.
How-
Only
how
one of
My
us should.
area- I like a 300 to 400 page book.
Listen, only one
You
of
don't
us
need
should
any
be
more pages
jumping
than
into the potential spoiler pool, and I'll take that for the team. You stay out of there. You son of a bitch.
I'm just on Goodreads.
that's
It's
You
all right.
down and dirty bean.
I just want to praise the costume designers and prop people one more time. I cannot get over it.
Yeah.
And locations.
I loved
Dear
their
Lord.
car.
Their car is so cool.
Yeah,
the
the car's
Woody.
great.
Everything
cool.
in the movie was the most
It's
perfect
a
Gonna call
show,
it a
but you're
TV
calling
show.
it a
I'm sorry, I
movie.
keep calling it a
It
movie
did
because
feel
it had
like a movie, though.
better production
Yeah.
value than most movies.
Yeah, it
like
felt like a movie.
I wanted it to keep going.
Yes.
each item, each like top any person was wearing, each like necklace chain, like I feel everything was beyond perfect. So
Yeah, it's great. I'm very excited, and I can't wait to see more. But we'll probably think of more things to talk about when we get into the emails. But I think we're just
Well, I was going to
It's-
say real quick,
Oh,
guy
sure.
who
Say?
is allowed to Google, the creatures at the end, are those from a specific Lovecraft story?
yeah. So someone in the subreddit here was talking about what they are called because the main character, what do they call
He
him?
said it in the show what they were
Yeah, he said that they were called.
they were like gazillion-eyed something.
Yeah, they're like. Let me see. I'm gonna try to find the comment
Also,
here.
the fact that the aunt and uncle's family run a travel, I can't think of
Safe
the word.
travel.
Yeah.
Travel guide business.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
here's-
Safe Negro travel. As somebody who's worked
That's
in
a
the travel,
That's a cool
Yes.
idea, yeah.
worked in the travel industry in small amounts, there's always talk about how there's so few attention put on travel blogs that aren't by white people. Basically, there's such a lack of like black travel content that's being shown. Not that
Yeah.
it's a lack in the world, but that's being shown by like the companies that are showcasing travel bloggers, travel advertising people.
I was super reminded
crazy.
of the Traveling While Black documentary that's in
What?
VR that I've been talking to you about for
Oh,
ages that I want to
yeah.
show you. But it's really, really
I thought
cool.
it was cool they had him reading Princess of Mars at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's not H.P. Lovecraft, and obviously they made the John Carter movie, but I've never thought about the fact that it's a Confederate general? Is he a
Yeah.
general? Can't remember.
Yeah. He ex-Confederate or
That
whatever.
goes,
or
and
retired
that's like
Confederate or
a
whatever.
problem, like, because I've read Princess of Mars, and I just never thought about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to like continually kind of
Be learning.
be able to look at things from a different perspective. Just
Love
be like,
that.
yeah, things I don't have to think about. And
A perspective we all need to kind of be reminded of and know and knowledgeable in. But really quickly, someone on the subreddit noticed that in the credits for this episode, there's a language of Adam consultant. And what is the language of Adam, you ask? Well, Adamic language is, according to Jewish tradition and some Christians,
this is going to be spoilers.
the language spoken by Adam and possibly Eve in the Garden of Eden.
I think this is going to be spoilers.
No, that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, but he has some kind of genetic tie to this place, and Adam
I'm just
Adamic
saying, for
sounds
those
kind
of
of like the
you-
place. It's going to end up being related somehow. That some Adam and Eve bit is in his DNA. And
I'm
now
just
we
saying
know
it
we
for
didn't
the
know it.
nerds that want to know, like, ooh, their language of Adam is in the credits.
I hear
That's
you,
cool.
but we'll
Wait.
find out in a few episodes
Alana.
if it was a spoiler.
Alana,
saying.
technically, everybody has Adam and Eve's DNA.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, but there's going to be some tie. You know, I'm paraphrasing. I don't know
If
what's
you
going to
wanna go
happen,
there,
but something like
we're
that's going to
all-
happen in the
we're
show,
all
and
from-
this is going to end up being like, now we know that's what the cult is about, some kind of whatever.
Okay, so here's the Lovecraft creature.
Technically, we're all the incest grandbabies of Adam and Eve.
So this Lovecraft creature, which is
No. Well,
Yeah, because their kids had to fucking make babies.
yeah. I mean, if you believe in that stuff, but
Well, if you're going off of
I mean,
that,
we could talk further because
I don't believe that birds are real, and I also don't believe that there is a Pizzagate conspiracy.
But genetically, a black female has all the possibilities in her genes when not anyone else
Don't be
does.
ridiculous.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So
okay.
if we're talking about like this genetic lineage kind of concept, that's who's a part of what, like it gets more complicated than
All right,
the Christian myth.
let's
Adam and
move
Eve.
on here. The creature that that they were referring to in the Lovecraft mythos, I guess,
Mythos.
is called the
mini-eyed.
Shoggoth, and it's apparently described as a formless
Shoggoth.
protoplasm able to mock and reflect all forms and organs and processes. But yeah, it's supposed to have like a bunch of eyes, I guess. But a lot of people are arguing that that's not what this is. But it might just be like a modern interpretation of it or something. And we might just get... Because, I mean...
Well, it could be like aliens. Like in Aliens, it takes on whatever the xenomorph is made from. And because when it bit the guys, it started to turn into... So maybe these are other like humans that have been bit by that
I liked
thing.
that they kept
That's what I
kind of
thought.
referring to Dracula and vampires and stuff. So I
Yeah.
really got like maybe they're like
Mhm.
Lovecraftian vampires. That's kind of like what they look like.
Well, I love what you said about in referring to 80s content, that it was always like, having been a nerdy person and read this and that, it helps you in this situation.
Yeah.
I love that you pointed that out because I didn't think of it that way.
It's just it
and I
takes like
love that. It's true.
because it takes the nostalgic feeling, but doesn't throw it in your fucking face. Like, do you remember Gremlins and shit? And like,
I know, but like
you know.
technically, all movies where the hero figures out a way to solve the last minute thing that's happening, they're always recalling to something that ideally happened earlier in the movie, that they learned something. But
the fact that it's like
I didn't-
focused in nerddom.
yeah,
and
like
sci-fi
I
and
haven't
shit,
been
yeah.
somebody who identified as just nerdy in such a way where I felt like so seen in a moment like that. So I didn't connect the dots of how specific and unique that is, and interesting. That's very cool.
This is also kind of like how in Back to the Future, they go back to the 50s and it's the nostalgic white American 50s that were all like, oh, yay. And you go back to the exact same time period with this story and it's like, oh, no, not nostalgic for that.
Yep.
Yep.
So is there much more to talk about before we jump into the emails and clips and stuff? There was that clip.
Yes, I want to hear that. Is it long, though?
American Dream and American Negro speech. It was Baldwin, it says. It doesn't say like a full name. It just says Baldwin's American Dream.
Was it from the same
James Baldwin
clip, the beginning and the middle
It's
part?
James Baldwin, yeah. It was it was
that's
like
interesting.
it was like the speech that they played during the like montage when they're like driving around and
Right,
stopping.
but was
at
that what they were
restaurants.
playing over the beginning, over the war scene at the beginning?
Oh,
Sounded like it.
that's a good
Sounded the
question.
same.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay.
And someone in the subreddit said, really enjoyed the Baldwin excerpt from his debate on the American Dream. It did end abruptly though, and I was a little confused by it. Made it seem more like a radio cut than a travel montage with a voiceover.
I liked it ending abruptly, and I felt like so few filmmakers could have pulled that off, but they pulled it off, and I was in.
Yeah.
But that was my opinion.
I thought it was very powerful, especially over the imagery of them
Insane.
being harassed by people and it being a terrifying experience just to like travel at all, and it's such a terrifying idea of that this was happening in
the middle of all of that. I had to go over to CVS, and just because of being in the headspace of the show, when I walked into CVS, I was like, I don't think I'm allowed to be in here. Like I felt like that everyone was gonna like freak out that I was like walking into their store.
I know that's not
like,
like great. but
hang on, I gotta
that's-
stop thinking about this show for a split second.
That's so incredible. That is the purpose of shows like this. I want to say at some point, so I'm going to say it right now. I'm just so overwhelmingly glad, happy, excited, grateful to the filmmakers that we have a show that is allowing us to like hear and understand the experiences of people in our history that we've never, like, we've heard bits and pieces of, and I know there've been some movies that are showing these experiences, but this is so next level how
putting you in the perspective.
Yeah, how much you can relate to what's going on. Like a lot of, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of content from the perspective of Black people before the 90s, really. I mean, like there was much then either, but really there hasn't been a lot of coming from that perspective in the past. Or maybe it's like a white person's version of their perspective, so it's still very like nice and whitewashed or whatever. All the content I can think of that comes from that era that has like Black people in it and their story is like, I mean, we have movies like Loving, but they're so specifically this storyline. But this show, because it's a show, we have so many different characters, different ages and genders experience at that time so vividly. I don't know, I just feel like this is more relatable than anything I've seen yet in this way, and I want to scream
it's just
and shout.
it seems more personal because you're seeing it from the perspective of these characters that are very relatable characters.
Sure,
too.
and that's a part of why like their nerddom is it makes it more like relatable really.
Yeah, it reminds me of in Watchmen when they put the camera. You bet the camera was the first person point of view of being lynched, having the bag thrown over your head and being pulled up into the tree. That whole thing.
That was terrifying.
That's now you can't unsee it. You know what it you know you can picture it in your mind, and it's always going to be there now. And you're like, okay, I didn't think about that before. Holy shit!
And also like Regina King having to like recreate that emotion, in
all
her
the hood
performance and shit.
Transportation.
There are so many vital stories that are so massive and not like sideline stories, like massive stories that have never been told from this era, from these perspectives. Totally. It is insane, but I suppose makes sense if you think about the problems in our history. But
hey, listen, they had Steven Spielberg make Color Purple, so everything's fine.
All right. Well, listen. I'm sure we'll kick up the argument or the
Color
argument,
Purple is
Jesus.
good, by the way.
I'm sure we'll kick up the discussion even more with the emails and such.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
Let's
let's cream in my pants over here.
Let's get to some clips. How about that, guys? Does that sound fun?
I love it. Let's get to it.
All right, let's do it. Oh yeah, I should. Sorry.
Is that the?
Let's find your bird.
There we go. All right. We only have 3 clips, and
this is gonna be. I think there'll be more clips the further we go.
Probably more, but I think they'll still be on the lower side as compared to Leftovers. It's so like. Serious.
I mean, we'll see. I'm sure there's just going to be a lot of great lines and a lot of quotable lines, and then fun to use in the soundboard lines, which sandwich would you like, my friend? All right.
Officer Mustard Stain.
Officer Mustard Stain. I don't think I have that one anymore. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you know me, buddy. All right, let's jump into the first clip. Here it is.
Get your ass up! We gotta get the fuck out of here now!
Yes. Fantastic.
That was the perfect reaction to overhearing that phone call.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to come out and be like, hey, I think we should go.
Exactly.
Like, let's get the fuck out of here!
And I love that it made me think that same thing. I was like, oh, she'll come out and be like, maybe we should leave. I love it made me think that because that's just one more layer of like, that's not what life is like. If you're black in a town like this at a time like that,
there's no luxury of
it's
like
not
being
like,
subtle.
oh, I don't know if we kind of maybe. I mean, maybe in a different town at a different time with different people, who knows? But in that circumstance, like, it changed what I perceived would happen.
There's just they don't have the luxury of being as subtle as you know, someone who wouldn't be treated that way.
Of not considering the threat of your life.
Right.
Yeah. and in that moment explaining the history of why the White House is white, like just throwing that in the middle of that
How great.
moment. Perfect writing.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So many
Nailed
great things.
All right, next clip.
Wait, no. Say that again one more time. Did I hear that right? Who saved your asses?
Letitia fucking Lewis.
Oh, Letitia. What's her last name?
Letitia fucking
Lewis.
Lewis.
Letitia
I wrote
fucking
it
Lewis.
down.
Letitia fucking Lewis.
But
I
the
want.
way he said it, yeah,
I
the way he
know.
goes, "Oh."
Brett, would you please would you please cut the clip of just Letitia fucking Lewis for me eventually? Don't do it now, but for the next episode, I just want that one to have. Yeah, I want that one loaded up. And finally, I think this was the line of the episode. I think this was the quote of the entire first episode. Here it is.
You need to shoot him.
I mean, I love how he just knows that he's absolutely fucked. Like, he's like, I've read enough shit about vampires. I've read enough shit about
Listen,
zombies.
your guy is turning. You
Doesn't
need
matter
to
what
shoot
you
him.
read. Look at what you're looking at with your own eyes.
But I just love his.
You need to shoot him.
You need
Dude,
to
he's
shoot
so
him.
good. I was so afraid that he was gonna die.
Too,
in
because
this
of that
episode.
fucking phone call.
Yes, they
The
planted
phone
us.
call. The phone call.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know.
like,
I know.
no.
Oh, he's.
I was like, those motherfuckers.
I was like, oh, come on.
Dude,
They
dead.
bookended his
Okay,
life for us
as-
and then saved him.
As
like,
soon
no.
as he said, like, let's go on that trip together. As soon as I'm
yeah.
back,
Next time
I
it's gonna be you and me.
I turned to Alana and I was like, he's dead.
I know.
He's
Instantly.
dying in
but they
this
knew.
episode.
Mhm.
But I love it, and
I
I
love that they did
and,
I
it to
love him so.
um,
He's so good.
I'm in love with it.
Everyone is like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's great.
It reminds me of when I was watching Breaking Bad. Anytime I would call out something for being too cheesy or cliche or whatever, they would totally flip it on me by like the end of the episode.
Right,
and I'd be
right,
like, "I'm sorry, I should have trusted you."
All right. Well, I want to hear it one more time.
You need to shoot him.
All right. So.
Oh, you know what though? She totally pulled the like crash the car into the house,
Love it.
not really knowing where everybody is inside.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
She
that's
probably
true.
didn't know where the fucking house was.
That's true, also.
She didn't even know the house was
I was like,
there.
oh, fuck, there it is.
Everybody's okay.
Lucked out. Yeah, you only got the bad guys. Great.
All right. Well, guys, how about we move into some emails? Does that
My
sound
better
fun?
some neighbors.
Let's jump right in.
Took your top. Look who's here.
Billy.
Your daughter.
Fuck your dog.
That's nice. Oh, shit.
Billy Ray.
You need to shoot him.
Emails.
All right.
I want more new. Is it selfish to want new songs for emails and clips
Yeah,
now?
yeah. Oh, that's a great idea. Let's
I
put-
know, but they always kill it though. I love each like
Yeah.
show's
We
version.
only have 3 clips.
But I know what I was gonna say is in a few
All right.
episodes when we have more clips, if anybody wants to get creative.
Well, I just want to, if anybody is feeling creative and they are bored during the quarantine, they want to make us a little jingle for clips and emails.
no copywritten shit.
And
I
and
do
if
love
you're
how quick the clips intro is though now.
I
yeah,
know.
short. We
It's
love
right
them
to the
short.
point.
Short's nice.
also, if you're feeling frisky, you could even make an Alana's Thoughts song.
I have a feeling Alana's thoughts. This.
But you don't get a segment until you get a song.
That's true.
Aw, I have a feeling my Alana's thoughts on this show are just gonna be like fashion
Don't be
fabrics.
ridiculous.
Well, I can't
By the
wait.
way,
Your thoughts.
Or
the,
what?
Don't have to. They don't have to be quantified.
I'm just
You can do
forewarning
whatever
you.
want.
Well, is it
The boys are gonna be like partially tuning out, but people at home are gonna be like, "Oh my god, I love that
But wait,
too."
are we? Is it your thoughts or is it your themes? What is it?
It's my thoughts because there
it's our
aren't
thoughts.
always
okay.
themes
All
in
right.
there.
Do you have anything to say? Did you have your?
Pretty much the stuff I already
Okay,
said.
great.
Mostly.
All right. Emails.
Steve, I wanted to
Yes.
say that the Beastie Boys version of History Road was great.
Isn't it great? Although some people were already like, please don't change it. We love the old one. Don't change it. We don't want a new one.
I just love that it evolved from Holiday Road into A Wonderful Christmas Time with Holiday Road, and now it's now the Beastie Boys
just the Beastie
version
Boys
of
for
that.
some reason.
I love the weird evolution. It's awesome.
Yeah, I like
Holiday
it too.
Road came up. We watched Vacation.
Yes.
While I was on vacation,
Mhm.
and it comes on, and it sounds weird. It sounds not right. To hear the song now.
Do you guys want this massively huge email from Beto about his pilgrimage?
Oh.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
mean,
I
put it at
do.
the end.
At
Well,
the end. At
all
the
right.
end. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
just remind me and we'll
Mark
read it
as
at the
unread.
end. All right. All right. We'll get back to you, Beto. All right. Guys, we got an email from Olive.
Oh,
I wonder if
You
Olive's
mean
the one that sent
Olive?
us this. Who knows?
Definitely
Gotta
it
be.
is, because she's written in before.
Well, let's find out.
Well, let's find out.
She sends an email saying, "Hello, summer boys and girl. The other day, I was over at my friend's house watching the movie Us, starring Lupita Nyong'o, and we got on the topic of African American actors and actresses, and how most of their names are pronounced phonetically. So it's frustrating when people get them wrong, or don't even try.
Please welcome.
My friend said." My friend said, "That's like this guy on Oz. He has a long name. Hold on, let me look it up." While she was looking it up, I started explaining how, because of the First Time show, I will always know how to pronounce the name of the actor who played Mr. Echo.
Yay!
What is it? Adewale Akinwuye Agbaje.
Agbaje.
Yeah.
Good
Adewale
job,
Akinwuye Agbaje. Jesus Christ. Her
Adewale Akinoye Akbaji.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we
Her-
did
was
it
the
wrong
wrong
for a
one.
long time.
Yeah, that was whatever.
So she said that out loud, and she said her jaw dropped. That's the actor I was looking for. It was a crazy, surreal moment that I thought you guys would really enjoy. And then I asked her if she had ever seen anything directed by Javier Grillo Marxwatch, but she just ignored me. I haven't watched the episode yet, but I can't wait to see what show you guys have roped me into spending $15 a month for, a HBO subscription this time around.
Do we need to reach out to HBO?
Even though I really enjoyed The Leftovers. Peace and love, Olive. P.S. I'm moving into college this week, so any extra good vibes you could send this way would be great.
Yeah. All
Moving
the good
into
vibes.
college? Does that mean she was like 16 when we were watching Lost?
Yep.
Oh shit, maybe.
Yep.
Or 14?
I am sure
She
that it
says
does.
that she's sure she'll.
That's an all ages program.
She said that she's sure that she'll re-download old episodes for her drive and the inevitable quarantine. P.P.S. If you still haven't gotten the box I mailed to your P.O. box a month ago, I might cry. Well, you're gonna be very excited.
Got your pee-pee!
A month ago, you guys. A month ago. Be
know.
very afraid, everybody.
also-
Time is over. Time doesn't exist.
It may have been there for a bit because Steve
It
hadn't
had
been
to
in the office.
quarantine, Owen.
Oh, it was there for a
fuck's
bit,
sake,
for
Stop
sure.
trying to spread the
You
disease.
guys, the president of the United States is destroying the
I
postal
don't give a
service,
fuck
and that's
back
not
in
a
the
show. That's real life.
Hold on,
Yeah.
Owen.
Listen, in like 50 years, we'll get a really good sci-fi show that will cover
It's
this.
Oh,
fucking
we'll get like
crazy.
14 good sci-fi shows.
You need to shoot him.
All right, Lovecraft Country email comes from Joseph O'Malley. Hi, Alana, Brett,
luck,
Steve,
Olive.
and Owen. You better be there, you son of a gun. I'm very excited to experience this show with you all. Sadly, I'm UK-based, so I doubt I'll be able to watch the episodes and get an email in before you record due to time zone shenanigans. So this will probably be my one and only email this season. Obviously, this is a new show, so you can't follow the usual ones loves, one hates, one has never seen format.
Oh.
But luckily, like Watchmen, this show has some source material / source of inspiration that hopefully some of you are familiar with than others. I've personally never read any Lovecraft, nor the source novel for that matter, but I feel I've picked up a lot of his recurring themes, tropes, and whatnot through osmosis, so I'm going in relatively informed. What level of familiarity do you all have with Lovecraft? Have you read the book the show is based on? I think we kind of covered that, but
But how much
No,
familiarity
have
with
you read
Lovecraft?
any Lovecraft?
I have
Yeah.
personally not read any Lovecraft, no. But
I've read In the Mountains of Madness.
that
Nothing
one,
else.
I remember getting it at the library or something, and then being like, "Oh, I'm never gonna understand this," and then I took it back.
It's so short.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't have time for that. I had to beat Super Mario Brothers 2, so.
Wait,
Fair.
Owen,
Okay.
have you read any?
No, but Steve, is there any email music?
Oh, there is an email music. Owen,
Whoa,
that's a
bless
great.
you. I haven't read any either.
Owen sneezes the music right into the show. You're right. I forgot all about that. Hang on.
Really? I thought we did in emails.
No. We have music that we play during the emails.
Oh, my bad.
Except I don't know where the fucking playlist is. So I guess we don't. Oh no, here it is. Yeah, lucky ducky. All right.
This is a professional podcast.
Yes, it is.
Oh wow, we're on a tropical
Professional.
vacation today.
Try the new Baja fries and chips at Taco Bell. They're covered in chili cheese, guacamole, and sweet Taco Bell grande sauce. And every single worker in the restaurant's gonna take turns dropping 3 to 4 thick loads of gum right on top of your nacho. So enjoy. Everyone's gonna have a
Not
great time.
sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Taco Bell's open right now.
I
all
think
meet
I
up
want
there.
me some nachos, baby. Shove them into my vagina. Guys, so this guy really wants us to feel bad because he can't watch the show with us. I'm very sorry, sir. But maybe read the book and then give us book stuff.
Send us an email tomorrow for episode 1, and we'll read it next week.
Yeah, it's just
Don't
a
do that,
delay?
Brett, because then everybody's gonna do it, and then ain't nobody got time for that. Also, Watchmen took a very thorough but narrow look at race through the concept of inherited trauma. I'm interested to see what avenue this show will take in its exploration of race relations in the U.S. And on that note, remember that Black Lives Matter and vote blue this election for at least the possibility of systemic change, because that's more than you'll get under the current leadership. Anyway, looking forward to hearing your thoughts, laughing at some new clips, and getting great insight from the emails in what will hopefully be another great season of The First Time Show. Bye-bye.
I didn't understand that sentence.
Neither did I.
Oh, okay.
I like that he's hopeful, though.
Yeah, I like what I interpreted as some of the sentiment, maybe.
The Burge sends an email saying, your guys' continuing bungle.
Black Lives Matter.
I just don't want the watching of a new show to distract anyone from the fact that you guys never finished Castle Rock, sent from my 32 iPhones. Yes.
You said it!
And we never will.
What shall be
Oh,
unnamed.
man.
I finished it, you guys.
The good news is we already know what we're going to watch next, and it will fix all of your problems.
Yeah,
That's
after
right.
this. Stoke it.
You need to shoot him.
All right, Andrew Whitney sends an email saying, Lovecraft Country Episode 1. Hello, lovely people. Holy shit. I'm 100% in on this show, from the absolutely wonderful and extremely campy intro to the intense and terrifying world building in both realistic and mythological ways. I'm so freaking pumped that this kind of eldritch horror is getting a more prominent spotlight in the general public, and I cannot wait for more. Also, fuck cops! ACAB, baby.
I'm sitting on my optimistic ledge, but currently I'm like, is this going to be one of the top 5 best shows ever made?
I know.
Maybe.
We can't.
It might be.
That's why I'm saying we got to take a deep breath.
We got to take a deep breath and not
We
get
got
too
to
excited.
relax. We got to
But
not
I
get
like
too
to be excited. I don't mind it.
Be excited, but don't be too excited, because
I don't get disappointed
Listen,
though, so I'm okay to be excited. You
I'm not
gotta
trying
not
to
get
make
excited.
any comparisons to
guys-
anything in recent memory on HBO, but I'm just.
What's your favorite show, Alana?
I just want to say, let's all be safe. You never know when something could take a hard left and then it's not good. So everybody just keep your expectations as, just take a deep breath.
I don't know if this helps with the first time
Too late.
format.
Steve's talking to himself again.
I am talking to myself.
I gotta say, I'm super stoked on this show, but I'm not like. I think I was a little more excited for Watchmen after the first episode.
You are kidding.
Not me.
Yeah, not me. I'm
I
way
mean,
more
Owen,
excited
I
I'm
know
not
you're
there.
not much of a
I
horror
think
boy.
I think I'm the guy who just really likes this, as opposed to like completely loves
because
it.
Owen, you're not really a horror boy.
Well, I'm
No, I
not
know.
a horror
If
girl.
you guys are at a 10, I'm at like a 9 right now.
Wow.
Okay.
Halfway through the episode, I literally thought, I don't know how I'm gonna make it week to week. This is gonna drive me crazy.
I know. I felt the same
Wow.
exact way.
I
Nitish. Oh, sorry.
feel like they wrote that song WAP WAP about watching this episode.
We got some wet ass pussies over here. All right. Nitish Mehta says Lovecraft Country. Wow.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. Just want to say thank you for doing the show. As a huge horror fan, I was already looking forward to the show. Watching it week by week with one of my favorite podcasts ever just makes it that much more special. I was convinced the next show you guys are going to do is Twin Peaks, but hopefully that can still be a reality down the line, pretty please. Well,
You.
we love the first episode, set an amazing tone, and has me really excited for what's to come. Also, that red herring with Uncle George has me nervous. Him having that phone call about with his wife about going on tour together next year made me so fearful
Yes, all of us.
for his life. Wow, Brett. Nice show and tell. My new friend's name is Show and Tell. That's great. What is that, a record?
Is that the whole email?
Oh, it's a DVD set there.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, it's a for your consideration.
That's for your Emmys consideration.
Oh, it's a bigger flex than I
Wow,
thought.
that's a huge pack. They sent you all of that.
Oh shit, you guys! I'm considering my Emmy vote now.
Also, the red herring was great. So fearful. I feel like that was done totally on purpose with the number of times he nearly died. Sorry for the longish email. You guys are the best, Nitish Mehta. Thank you, Nitish.
Thank you.
Hello there, Red Lady. Daniel Martinez says, hello, first-timers. Very excited to start a new weekly show. The show is fantastic. Disclaimer, I haven't watched the last Leftovers podcast. Saved it for tomorrow for work hours. I really like the explanation about being able to enjoy stories, art, and sometimes accepting their flaws. The separation of art versus artist can be difficult and sometimes impossible. I hope this can be explored further. I like the themes being addressed. Yes, absolutely.
Agreed.
Nailed it on the head, man. Alana and I ended up having
We paused
a
it.
conversation
Got
about
so
Johnny
deep.
Depp and
yeah, we were like, hold
actors
on,
that-
we gotta do this in the pod.
Yeah. Potentially falling
Like,
from
right.
grace.
It's hard to say because it's like I always think of like if Albert Einstein had been like a horrible racist, it wouldn't make E equals MC squared any less true.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do with that? You know,
Right.
like yeah, that shit sucks.
Very difficult. Let's see. The contrast
Oh,
of
Alana, can you cosplay next week as the red lady from the beginning?
Yeah, I'll paint myself
Oh,
red.
that'd be great. The contrast of contemporary music
Wow, yeah.
with the setting is something I love.
Can we pause for a second? That was the fact that they did it that way was so awesome.
Wait,
That they-
should I know
like,
something? What is the red lady?
No. Just like that's how aliens looked when they did these movies in like the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
The
was just like
50s,
paint
like
them
War
a
of the
different
Worlds
color
stuff. Yeah.
and put on a weird like bikini, and that's an alien.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
With,
Okay.
with
And,
pie plates flying in the sky.
Also,
Yeah,
do you
there's
guys
so much
feel
that could have been like CGI, or they could have done it so much better. And it was like, no, let's just do it like they would have done it back then. I thought that was rad.
do you guys feel like that woman was the woman that he called on the phone?
Yes, I know it is because she's
Yeah.
more in the show, and I'm a huge fan of hers, Jamie Chung.
Whoa, spoiler
Baby.
alert.
It said it in the
From the
credits.
real world.
She is in and helped create one of my favorite travel narrative movies of all time.
And then Daniel goes on to
What?
say the contrast of contemporary
Which-
music
yeah,
with the
which
setting
one?
is something I loved,
What
and I
movie?
hope it
I have to
continues.
Google the title. I don't remember the
He
title.
says, quick questions, maybe already addressed. Is Atticus half alien? And why did the truck flip over if it didn't touch the gray car? I think these
Because of
things
the
will be
force field.
addressed. Oh.
Yeah, I want to hear what they have to say.
I didn't think anything about Atticus being.
Well, they're talking
like
about his
alien
genetic
or anything.
heritage or whatever.
I mean, I guess he could be an alien, but my theory to Alana after the show was man, I really hope that it turns out that his dad is like a Van Helsing that hunts down like Lovecraftian monsters, and he's part
His
of like
dad's gonna be in it.
Yeah.
because his photo was in that thing, and it's
And
obviously
he's a
the guy
great
from
actor.
Boardwalk Empire
The
and
Wire.
The Wire, but who's a fantastic actor. But my theory is that his dad is like a bounty hunter, or like he hunts down Lovecraftian monsters, and the family, it's like the family's thing. They have to like kill these creatures that come from like different dimensions or something. That was
I don't know,
my
that sounds a little like procedural, like Grimm or something like that. I want it to be like, there's this fundamental thing we have to solve.
Yeah, I'm all for a fundamental thing, but I'm also really deep into season 4 of Doctor Who right now, and I'm loving procedurals with monsters and shit.
Cool.
So if it ends up
Wait,
being
it's
something,
4? Are you Matt Smith yet?
no,
We're in season-
we're David Tennant, and we're
no
Oh,
spoilies.
5 is Matt Smith.
and
Okay,
we're
great.
Wow, great.
Thanks.
Just keep
Oh,
dropping the
thanks a
spoilers,
lot.
Brett.
So excited.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Look
you
at
had
Owen-
a fucking decade to watch it.
Owen's crying.
Owen is crying his eyes out. Wait, I found the name of the
Owen's
movie.
The end of Blair Witch Project.
Owen's masturbating. It kind of looks like.
Wait, I found the name of the
Back
movie.
door, my friend. Yes.
The name of the movie that I love, the travel movie, is called Already Tomorrow in Hong Kong. And it's like so underrated. No one talks about it. So very good.
Oh, wonderful.
And it stars her and her actual husband. And it's kind of like a love story. So it's very great.
So he continues to say, my favorite line, I am not scared because fear is not going to save us. And he was sent from John Carter's iPhone. And he says, P.S. Cinnamon by Nina Simone
yes.
as the end credit song was perfect.
It killed me.
Sinnerman.
Have you guys ever just listened to Cinnamon by
Sinnerman
Nina
Toast
Simone?
Crunch.
Just listen to it. And if you can, watch a video of her singing it.
Is
She's
Owen like putting on makeup or something? What's happening?
Owen, what are you
okay over
doing?
there? What's happening? Is anybody else actually worried about Owen?
Let's listen.
I mean, I always oscillate in some. Happy and nervous.
Well, he's part alien for sure.
Jason Miller.
There's a band called Extra Fancy that did a cover of Sinnerman in '96.
Is it great?
That was the first version of that song I heard. It's different.
Oh, okay.
Jason Miller sends an email.
It's worth a listen.
Saying the ethical dilemma of being an H.P. Lovecraft fan. Hello, beautiful people.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to watch this amazing new show along with my favorite podcast hosts and hopefully also Owen. I have a somewhat serious...
How come I'm not a favorite?
If you stayed
If
on
you stuck around
consistently-
longer...
Hey.
Alana, you know how long I was on this fucking podcast?
About as long as Brett and I. He says...
Yeah.
He said I have...
Lost so fucking long to get through.
He said, I have somewhat of a serious question, so I hope it's not bringing down the mood too much after some high-quality bits. Quick background. In preparation for this series, I listened to The Complete Fiction of H.P. Lovecraft on Audible, promo code BANTER. I don't think that's a real promo code. But you can try it. It's 50 hours of really captivating and creative stories, and for the most part, it's incredibly ahead of its time. The one glaring sign of the time period that those stories were written is the semi-frequent use of racial slurs and the non-existence of female characters. I know in my heart that my values don't align with those of Mr. H.P. Lovecraft, but some of his stories have become my new favorite horror works. My question is this. How do you separate the art from the artist when the content was created over a century ago? As culture changes over time, can the works of otherwise brilliant writers be forgiven for what would be considered extreme prejudice in today's society? Keep up the amazing work. Sending you all the love, peace, COVID-free hugs. I think we addressed it.
Well, I don't think
But
we
if you have
did.
more
I think
to say-
we repeated it and then didn't address it.
Well,
Do
I
you
think
guys-
what's happening now is really interesting that people are, the creators of this show are taking his works and in a way honoring what's great about it, what people have really responded to, which is the the horror, the monsters, what's interesting, and using it to tell a story about racism in America.
Mhm.
I think it's a really interesting way of both paying honor to and shedding a light on the problems with the,
It's the right way
with,
to do
with,
it, for sure.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So-
hard for me. I feel like when you're looking at artists from fairly far in the past, when there was less opportunity for someone to learn if they were the type of person who would have evolved their values if they were, had their eyes opened. That's a little bit different to me than people who, like, right now we have people who are getting canceled who are like shitty people when it comes to like racism and values, but we also have people being canceled who are shitty people when it comes to like actual acts they've done, like Harvey Weinstein kind of stuff. To me is like, okay, that says much more about the individual than what's actually happening, what he's actively doing, than it does about like him just existing in what would have been normal for him at the time and not had an opportunity necessarily to like awaken himself from it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think those are two totally different conversations, and I don't want that to take away from like things. Obviously the times evolve and things need to evolve with them. So I think it's totally fantastic and appropriate that when someone like Lovecraft is being retold, his works are being retold in the modern day, they are adjusted to reflect how things have changed. I don't know, because personally, I don't find it as difficult to separate the art from the artist in general, but it kind of depends what kind of art, because some art is a lot more personally reflective.
Well, yeah, art is personal. You're not friends with the artist. You guys aren't buddies, having drinks, talking about racist things.
Exactly.
The art is and has always been a reflection
Don't
of
be
yourself.
ridiculous.
It's what you feel when you look at art or you read art.
Yeah, totally.
And
exactly
in
right.
this case, I think it's an opportunity. I think the easy answer is like, we shouldn't read Lovecraft because he was a racist. But I think that if it gives you an opportunity to self-reflect and feel like kind of double down on, I don't agree with this part of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
I think that
fantastic perspective.
Yeah, I think that there's always a benefit to self-reflection and personalizing that art.
And when I said that we like addressed it, I guess I was more like when Owen said if it turned out Albert Einstein was like a terrible racist.
Oh,
and,
right.
Then it was like, it doesn't change that E equals MC squared is true and brilliant. And but it's difficult. But it's difficult. I mean, but I agreed with Owen. I agree with that.
But that's like science is a slightly different than
well,
art.
sure. With art, I guess it's for me. I found it difficult to kind of like I don't really want to see any more Woody Allen movies, and I don't want to see Kevin Spacey in movies. And there's a lot of people that kind of piss me off to just kind of see and know that their soul and blood is all over these scripts and these movies, and it's hard to continue to support directors and actors and people that have
to
done
know that
truly
you're watching
despicable.
their movie supports them.
Yeah, and to me personally,
Is it different because they're still alive? And
There
you're
is a
kind of
difference,
like,
I
hey,
think.
can you?
I guess so, but Michael
don't know.
Jackson's a really difficult one for me right now because it's like I grew up loving him so much, and you learn that like he may or may not be, a really actual terrible person or had been a really terrible person, and all of the allegations that came out posthumously make things really confusing for a fan who grew up loving Michael Jackson's music so much, and now it just kind of makes me feel gross when I hear a Michael Jackson song, and
I've just kind of blocked it out.
It
made me feel gross.
But
for
that
like a
is
few
the thing.
months,
It's like, how do you feel when you listen to a Michael Jackson song before you felt great and were excited and wanted to dance, and now you feel like shit, so you're not going to listen to it?
But
yeah, I guess
You know
it's
what I
just,
mean? It's like I do think that it's very personal. It's a very
I feel like for me it's one of those things where it's like I gave so much of my life is truly surrounded by so much of my life is a collection of so many pop culture things. And I think Michael Jackson is very specifically a huge influence of musically in my life, and I've always loved him. And the fact that I had such a love for this like artist, this musical artist, and then you learn that they're potentially part of really despicable shit, it just makes you like instantly lose all of your taste. For me, it made me lose all my taste and flavor for Michael Jackson shit, and now I just feel kind of like, well, what I gave him so much, you know, and I took so much from that music, and it changed me as a person. And now it's like I don't know what to believe. So my personal take is like, you know, maybe someday I'll be healed and I'll have dealt with it personally, and I'll be able to listen to Michael Jackson again. But I know I do.
You're bringing up a really fantastic point, though, that I hadn't even ever considered, that also people of the late 20th and mostly 21st century, we are far more like who we are is created by the content we absorb around us, because we're so inundated with content. I feel like it's a super different conversation now than it would have been in like the year 1901 or something.
Sure.
Like you really, the art you consume was so separate from yourself, or such a smaller aspect of you then.
Right.
Versus
We used to
now.
not know anything about these people.
Right.
Yeah. Well, but no, but that aside, whether or not you know about their personal lives, how you create who you are is so much based upon identifying, like your identity is made up of the types of content you like partially now, and it was never like that 100 years ago. That's so different. Like,
But maybe it was, but we just don't know.
No,
to
it
what
wasn't,
degree
because
or
you could
whatever.
sit in your house and spend years of your life without seeing a single ad for something.
Sure.
And today you can't spend 10 minutes without seeing a single
some
ad
kinda
for
ad,
something.
yeah.
If you live in a city, at least, like, period. So it's different. Like, we are being affected by other people's thoughts and opinions on stuff all of the time. So it's interesting that, of course, we're going to have a more personal experience of those thoughts and opinions and whatnot, you know? That it's going to really be more personally affecting to us. So it's like I don't know, I've just never thought of it from that. That's a fascinating, like, evolution of it. It means something different now.
This is the new version of it.
Yeah, and it's like, I think it's important to acknowledge that, because it does make up a lot of who people are these days.
Well,
Anyway, that's a lot of talk.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts there, Alana, and I'm glad we all had a serious discussion about it for a second. But when we come back, we'll finish the email, so we'll be right back. This episode's brought to you by a can of poop. All right.
Now that we know poop has been
I said a can
really
of poop.
sexual harassing, and he's been a real racist fuck, do
can't-
we still like can
The
of
company
poop?
behind Can of Poop gave money to Trump.
You need to shoot him.
The company behind can of poop.
Donated campaign money to Trump. All right, Clifford Odell
They supported
sends
ICE.
Clifford Odell. Can of Poop did 9/11. Clifford Odell. Let's make some shirts that say Can of Poop did 9/11.
Can of poop.
Finally, first time show merch, and that's what's on it.
Is that
9/11.
insensitive to people who were affected by 9/11?
That sounds like a TKO shirt.
You're right, it totally does. All right, Clifford Odell sends an email saying, I think we have something special, and I agree. That might be one of the best pilots I've ever seen. Lana really loves it. And without a doubt, the best.
Without the doubt.
Yeah, it does say
I don't
without
know who
the
I
doubt.
am.
It says without the doubt, the best opening I've ever seen. I had to watch a second time to catch all the details.
Ugh, I feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have watched it a second time.
Well, we didn't have quite time yet, but now we do.
Now we did.
Don't die.
She went down the wrong pipe.
The opening felt like a more exciting version of Ready Player One.
Oh, I did not see that.
So anyway, he says, what do you think the red space lady is? I think it's that girl he talked to on the phone. He's seeing her in his dreams because he's a big nerd for sci-fi. And that's what his dreams are like. And it says, I'm guessing she was on the other end of the line, Atticus called. Also, it's nice to see that the scrotum eyeball monsters are on the right side of history.
Oh my I wish we had a clip that said that.
P.S. Was the sound mixing a little off for anyone else? My audiophile ears were upset during the first car chase. I didn't notice.
Oh, neither did I.
I thought everything was great.
There
Israel
was a couple
Chavez
spots where I thought
Lopez.
The dialogue was like a little muffled from the other stuff, but that was all.
Really?
Is
Hey,
this
On
our
surround, it was
not
very
intern?
loud. Everything sounded good.
Israel Chavez
Yeah,
Lopez
wow.
sends an email saying, Lovecraft Country, first impressions. Hello, girl and boys. Israel here, ready for a new season of laughs, mysteries, and clips.
Of course not. Don't be ridiculous.
So I came out of the of this first
Can of
episode
poop.
with mixed feelings. First, the good things. Mixed feelings, oh.
Uh-oh.
I find the premise interesting. The setting is cool. Love the focus in Black American culture. As a non-American, we don't see much of this on cable TV.
Neither do
because
we, let me say frankly, and we need to.
It's not commercial here. We have to dig deep in order to find something non-white imported to us.
So do we. And we live here.
Neither Black Panther nor Get Out were big here. I actually had to watch Get Out through other ways because it didn't get a theatrical release in my town.
That's some bullshit.
But thanks to the BLM protests in the U.S., which actually had an important impact here, I wanted to get more educated in Black culture. That's wonderful. Now the negatives.
Did he say where he's from? Somewhere
I don't
Spanish
know.
speaking, it sounds like.
We'll find out.
I don't give a fuck.
Now that Becca
I
to
don't give a
Goo,
fuck.
Becca to Goo.
Are you finishing it?
Now the negatives. Some themes feel shallow and not too developed. The acting is not bad.
What?
But coming from The Leftovers, which in my opinion has some of the best acting on TV, it does feel kind of harsh sometimes.
No, I don't agree.
I mean, it's different. The tone is different. It's not the same tone.
The tone is different.
I
yeah.
think this is
That's
very
really
realistic.
important. Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't have a clear vision of this because he's pointing out not U.S. connection. I think it's
The other
very...
thing is, I do think this is very accurate to the time period in the U.S., but I don't know if that translates well. Is that what you were going to say?
I was going to say it's accurate to the time period, but also to... The whole point of the show is we don't see a lot of Black perspective, and Black culture is very different from white culture in the 50s and now even.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the ways they're interacting and stuff might seem more like, I don't know, whatever he said, but I think it seems, from my understanding, really accurate to the cultures at the times.
He says, "Hey, George Freeman, my husband, did you know that Atticus Freeman, your nephew, just came back?" Oh,
There was a little bit of that in the beginning. Yeah, it's your sister. Oh, my wife. I love you.
I mean, that's just kind of like it's
I know.
Listen,
Yeah.
exposition.
Table setting.
Exposition is very difficult to get right, and I think.
I think
Dude,
they
I will
got it
say
well.
I was not confused. I was not confused at any point about who anybody
Yes,
was
agreed.
or relationship
Yeah.
to
And that's-
anybody else.
that's
And
more
a lot of
important.
times you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in a show like this where you're introduced to a ton of characters in the first
And
episode.
there's other mystery things going on, so you need
Right.
to be really obvious about the main stuff. So, like, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
The intentional mystery is coming up.
Don't worry about that, Cinnamon. That's all for today, girls and boys. I'm going to get into this show cautiously optimistic. It feels like it can get very interesting, but I'm going to keep my expectations tamed. He's taking a deep
Yep,
breath.
you and Steve both.
Love you guys. Stay safe, and I better see you wearing a mask. That's right. Dan the Man.
I think it's going to get bananas.
I think so too. BANANAS.
S.
Dan the Man sends an email saying Lovecraft Country. Wow. What an opening. Aliens.
Is this the Dan?
No.
Oh.
Aliens, War, and Baseball. Pretty good episode. Great setup of characters. I feel like I need to get myself more acquainted with Lovecraft characters and stories. Great music, great acting so far. I'm ready for more. Also, that Aunt Jemima poster, relevant as fuck. Indeed.
I
Brett,
know.
Brett, are you wearing your microphone bag?
Yeah.
Well, when you put it that way.
Microphone back.
The White House.
I was wondering if they put that in there.
Of course.
Like,
You mean after, or if it wasn't in
No,
the script
because
or
I
something?
have been hearing about people in the Black community talking about how fucked up it is that we're still using Aunt Jemima for like a decade now. So I don't think it's something that makes sense that they would have already done to me.
I have
Dude.
some relatives that are pretty pissed off about can of poop. and how that they've been portrayed on the can.
How they've been portrayed on a can.
How they can't get can of poop at Walmart anymore.
Chad.
Walmart took a stand, stopped carrying it.
Finally.
I was listening to a clip of a thing that right from 4 years ago, right after Ferguson, and the conversation is identical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We're
This shit
saying
is
all
not
the
new.
exact same fucking things, and that obviously goes way back, but like
Some kind of
it was eerie to be like, fuck, we just did all of this 4 years ago. We've been so distracted that we forgot. Now we're back to this. We're like, this has to be the turning point. This, we got to get better police reform and all these things. And just like, oh my
For
god.
sure.
I just love that the conversation is like, hey, this thing that your syrup is in is offensive to people. Don't you want to change it? And they're like, what? I got to pour my syrup out of something else? Out of a different shaped bottle?
What, I gotta use
a can of
Fucking
poop?
No.
What, am I gonna
Where
use this
does it
can of
end?
poop over here?
What am I gonna pour my syrup out of a can of poop?
That can
My
has
syrup
poop
gotta
in
come
it.
out of a woman-shaped bottle.
If my syrup doesn't come out of a woman,
It's
I
not that
don't
I'm
want
not
it.
eating syrup anymore.
Is anybody else starting to think that Steve's quarantine hair looks a little bit like Mrs. Pickles?
Who the fuck is Mrs. Pickles?
The mom from Rugrats?
Dogs, Mom?
Oh
my God.
Didn't she have like clown hair? It came out
Yes,
like
she
this and then
did.
straight
It
up.
came out here
And it was
here.
curly,
Yeah.
baby.
You've got work to do.
I'll Google it. Don't you
I'll
worry.
get there someday. He says that I feel like I need to get myself more acquainted with Lovecraft characters and stories. Great music, great acting so far. I'm ready for more. Also, the Aunt Jemima, yes, we did all that. The White House history lesson is always a great eye-opener as well. Great start to a promising series. Can't wait for next week. Goodbye from Miami Dan.
Miami Dan.
All right,
Hi,
final.
Miami Dan.
He did the poll. He did the poll for leftovers.
Ah,
that
He
very nice.
slid
Currently
down the
is-
pole for
currently is
leftovers.
almost a neck and neck tie at 60-40.
Currently,
Greg,
the vote
can
is
you refrain-
closed.
Brett, can you refrain from making the white power sign on this podcast, please?
Is that a real thing?
I
What?
didn't
You
see
don't
what
know?
he did.
That's
What?
the
No,
Q.
what?
That's like the QAnon white power.
No, they
thing.
can't have okay.
They took
Go
the
fuck
Okie.
yourself.
Dude,
They-
they took
I-
Dude,
it.
it's done.
They took
you
it.
You haven't seen any
I
of
know.
that? Oh my god.
I haven't seen
Get
any of
mad,
that.
Brett.
You
Get
can't have
mad.
okay.
It's time to get mad and do something
Is that-
about it. They took the
I'm
Okie.
gonna
down.
have to
How much
tweet
though?
something.
Because I'm not
they
into
didn't make
that.
a thumbs up. We still got the thumbs
Don't
up.
be
Not yet, but if you do it like
ridiculous.
this,
He's got a
somehow it's
Christ.
racist.
Well, they never took the shaka, baby.
Oh wait, let me try this. Check this out. Hang on. Look.
You need to shoot him.
Don't be ridiculous. He's got a gun.
All right, Giovanni Cannoli.
Owen's choking on his
Racist,
pickle
I meant
juice.
supporting white power. That's not what I wanted.
Oh well, don't worry, Brett. If you didn't
Miami
know.
Dan.
Wait,
Here,
can
I
I
didn't
tell?
know that's
On the subject of symbols being taken, I just found out one of the symbols for pedophiles is a.
Oh, it's a spiral.
It's a spiral, but
in a
triangle shaped.
triangle,
So like
yeah.
d.
Weird. Gross.
Oh,
All right.
all about
So be
that.
careful.
So be
Talk
on the
about
lookout.
If you see
everybody.
somebody with a,
I'm gonna take
a
I'm gonna take the McDonald's logo for my personal brand. 'Cause I guess it's just requisition whatever you want now.
jeez. No, but
Well,
they've
Brett,
been using it
I-
for ages. If you see someone
Really?
tattooed with that, it's a serious. Be careful. Is that a real fart? Is that your fart?
Where do you think the microphone is?
Well, you've recorded your own fart and put it in that turntable before, so don't you dang potty mouth me.
Yo, you
Got
playing
a
your
little drum microphone
your
shoved up his ass.
Pac-Man video games in your turntable machine. All right, Giovanni.
That was also a
God.
fart.
Giovanni Cannoli sends an email. This is our final email, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get
Finally,
the hell outta
ladies
here.
and
I'm tired.
gentlemen.
I'm tired and I want to play Worms or Fall Guys with Brett. Brett's choice. Giovanni Cannoli says, "Hey there, boys and girl. Hope this gets you guys
Hello.
in time to read on the podcast. What a first episode, am I right? Loving the show so far. I'm excited to set off on this new adventure with y'all. All I have to say so far is that I think Lovecraft Country has so much potential to be a great show, and I hope it continues to shed light on racism in segregation-era America instead of going full into monster mode now that they've found Professor Xavier's school for gifted youngsters."
That's exactly how I felt.
During this episode, I really felt as if the Lovecraft monsters were being used as a plot device to portray racism in America, where the threat of these Lovecraft monsters was always present, but the real monsters to our group of main characters was the systemic racism they encountered. I felt uneasy during the gang's whole trip, and racism seemed like an inescapable, always present threat to their well-being.
Because it was.
The scene where the gang was trying to make it out of the county before sundown felt way more tense than anything after the actual monster reveal, and I hope this was intentional and a theme that they continue pushing. That humans are capable of, and have already done, things that are way more scary than anything in any monster story. I hope they continue this theme throughout the rest of the series, and fear that this series could go in a Castle Rock direction real quick if they shift the main focus to just the Lovecraft monsters. Also, Letty is a goddamn snack with 2 C's if I ever seen one. Well,
Agreed.
There's a more respectful way to say that, like a smoke show. Much love, Brad. Thank you, Brad.
The problem with Castle Rock was it was boring. I
Was
don't
that
see
your
Lovecraft
brother?
Country getting boring.
Castle Rock was bad in a lot of ways, and
But ultimately, I could have let everything go if it wasn't so absolutely boring.
That's true. That's true.
Who was the focus on the second season? It was an actor.
Boring.
Who's the girl that?
It was Misery.
Misery. That's right. And played by whom again?
Boring.
The girl from Hot Tub Time Machine.
That's right. All right. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say I'm super excited to be doing a show so much like Watchmen in so many ways, and in the format of the Watchmen watch through that we did here on the First Time Show. And I want to say thank you to our guests, our hosts.
Wait, are we signing off right now?
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. We
Oh.
talked about this show.
That's
now.
the end of the show.
We loved it. It's
Have
great.
you ever been on this show before?
Well, I wanted to ask a question.
We can't wait. Listen, I can't wait for more. You can't wait for more. It's exciting. There's not much to really talk about because we're just getting a tiny morsel of what this huge cookie going be. And I'm very excited, and I'm very, I can't wait. But what do you want to say? Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to have everybody do their middle finger as we sign off so that we could see how differently people do them, because the way the guy did it was very unique to his hand.
Oh,
and
that's some fun game.
Yeah, and I also wanted to ask, have any of y'all heard your parents having sex before?
I have not, thank fuck!
No.
I have, and it was with a boyfriend.
My parents only had sex twice, once for me and once for my brother.
That's fucked
What
up.
did you say, Alana? You did, and it was what?
Because my parents got divorced when I was like too young to know it, and so it was with a boyfriend. And let me tell you, all that I felt was like the feeling that that Godzilla feels when he's like spraying out of his mouth. That was what I felt. I was just like,
You mean like, ah!
Yeah, I was like a 6-year-old on fire, just like, Gah! I will kill you all. That's all. Owen, did you?
Nope. Thank God.
Did you ever hear
There you
this
go.
coming out of your parents' bedroom? All right.
No, but one time I was going through I was looking for like a winter hat in the drawers of the
No!
thing or whatever, and I found some condoms, and I was like, ugh.
Oh, condoms.
I
I
found
found sex
condoms.
toys. Condoms ain't
Sorry,
shit.
Mom, but I found condoms in your shit. But I was a very young boy, and I get it. You don't want to make any more of me. I'm a little shit.
I have found love notes and sex toys. Is my mom just cooler than all of yours? I think yes.
I
That's
didn't find
cool.
any of this shit.
Brett doesn't like this discussion.
Okay, sorry.
But here's
We
the
can
deal.
end it
We'll
now.
do the middle finger thing.
We'll
but
do it
first,
when we sign off.
We have to make good on our promise. We can read Beto's email about his pilgrimage.
Brett,
So
did you ever hear me, Ma, having sex?
I mean, Meemaw and Peepaw were getting it in.
yes, they
Worked out.
were.
Yes.
Shit.
That's why they let you watch all those movies.
Oh, shit.
Probably.
We got a player here.
All right. Beto Guevara. Okay, so anyway, for those of you that want to get the fuck out and stop listening to this show and don't care about Beto and his journey,
Don't do it.
thank you for joining us. We'll be here next time. We're going to have hopefully we'll have someone who's never been on the show before next week, and we'll try to have a new guest every week, and then Owen will come back around when he feels like it. Ain't that nice? And what else do I want to say?
And
Oh,
we'll
so if you
be
want to send your
watching
emails, please send them to thefirsttimeshow@gmail.com, all one word. And if you want to make some clips or emails, songs, or whatever, that'd be great. We love it. Same deal. send them to thefirsttimeshow@gmail.com. And also, please follow us on social media. We have a seldomly active Instagram account and a slightly
hopefully it'll
more
get more
active
active.
Twitter account that we have polls on, and we retweet shit from people, and it's very fun, and that's a good time. And also, you're hearing this on the Valleycast podcast stream, so thank you for joining us. And if you love the show, the best way to support it will be to go to youtube.com/thevalleycast and give the YouTube video version of the show a lot of love. Like it, share it, comment. I read the comments. I like them. So if you guys want to comment there, I will read them, and maybe we'll address some on the show at some point. But yes, please support that by following the YouTube channel for the Valleycast, and then liking that video sometimes if you like the show. You know, if you like it, if you don't like it, then fuck off. All right, so before we do our middle finger sign out, which you can only see in the video version anyway, let's read Beto's email here.
And for those of you who don't know, Beto was just on a pilgrimage
Through España.
through España.
España.
He did a short, like a week long, I think. Okay, let's hear it.
All right, he says, hello, craft lovers. What are you doing there, Owen? Oh, he's about to do his middle finger.
Oh, shit. He's winding it so slowly.
Oh, don't tease, you little bastard.
Oh, somebody is
Hello,
giving-
craft lovers. I know this is long, so don't feel obligated to read it on the podcast. First, huge disclaimer before people get on my face. At the time that we started the pilgrimage, the COVID-19 situation in the towns that we were going to walk through was very optimistic. It was mainly controlled. There were no spikes, and we were being very careful. I sanitized my hands more times than I can count. We wore masks as much as humanly possible, and we had tests before and after the trip. Great. So El Camino de Santiago, or the Way of St. James, dates to around 820 to 830. It has mainly been a Christian pilgrimage since St. James was one of the 12 apostles. In the last 100 years, it has become more touristy. People of all religions take on the challenge. More ways have been officially added throughout the years. There are currently 10 different routes, all in Spain, but 2 start in Portugal and 1 in France. They all finish in Santiago de Compostela, northwestern corner of Spain. Our trip was what is known as the original way. It is the most commonly traversed. In total, it would take around 30 to 33 days to complete. When you start, you get your own pilgrimage passport, and they give you a seal for every stage you complete. The great thing is you can do it in your own time. We started in a town on the border of France and finished in Logroño. That was 8 days of walking. I can and plan to go next year to Logroño, pick up where I left off, and walk the next 7 days. I'll bring my pilgrimage passport, and they keep putting the seals even if it's a year later. This way, I can complete the whole pilgrimage in around 3 to 4 years. That's cool. As to why people do it, it's mainly for religious or spiritual reasons. Personally, I'm not religious or very spiritual, and I can't say I had any deep reasons to do this pilgrimage. I just had free time since I'm unemployed, thanks Obama, I mean COVID, and was presented with the opportunity to go. So I can now say that it has been one of the best experiences I've ever had. I already knew the firsthand how beautiful this country is, but walking through it gives you such a different point of view. You can see how the vegetation changes the more you walk, and the routes offer some of the most beautiful sights I've seen in my life. It also made me proud of myself. I'm not the most athletic guy out there, and there were times where I was so tired and my feet hurt so much that I questioned what the hell I was doing there. But you end up putting one foot in front of the other and surprise yourself with what you accomplish every day. My favorite part, though, for sure, was the people we met. Most people do the same stages, so you end up seeing...
The real walk was the friends we made along the way.
So you
Cliche
end up seeing some people every day. The towns you arrive at are very small, so you end up eating and resting at the same restaurants and hotels. By the 3rd or 4th day, you end up getting to know some of the people, and by the end, you end up celebrating with them at the bar when you arrive at the next stage. I don't know if it's always like this or if we were just lucky, but I met some amazing people along the way. You develop a bond of camaraderie because you're all enduring the same hardship. You start talking about which body part hurts the most, And before you know it, there are like 12 of us drinking, eating, and joking as if we've known each other for years. I'm not one to make friends very easily or being very social for that matter. Connecting with people that you would never have met otherwise was by far my favorite part of the trip. That's gorgeous.
Oh, I
beautiful.
love that. That's my favorite thing about travel.
Lastly, and this
I
is
wouldn't have guessed that about Beto. He seems very friendly.
yeah,
I know, that's
and
true,
very well
actually.
spoken and social.
You're
and wonderful.
underestimating yourself, Beto.
Lastly, and this is not a plug, I made a highlight on my Instagram at ElBetoGF with videos of each day of the trip. There's no commentary or anything, just some of the sites and most of the towns we visited. I believe Alana will like it.
Yes, I will.
Like I said on my Twitter video, I fully recommend doing this pilgrimage. I would definitely train more than I did, which was nothing, and obviously wait for COVID to be a thing of the past. If you guys have any questions, just let me know, and I'll Google them for you. Buen camino, Don Beto. Nice work, Beto. We're very proud of you, my friend. Thank you for taking us on your pilgrimage journey. I think that was very wonderful. We lived sort of vicariously through your journey, and what a special experience
We
you
were
had. I'm
inspired
jealous.
by your journey to the new fun things we'll do and
Let's
out of quarantine.
After we all go to Hawaii and do the Lost tour, let's go do this.
Dude, I'm
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Like I want to do
He was on
this.
fire to do it. A friend of mine did
What?
the full version of this pilgrimage after she had a lot of big tragedy happen in her life. It was definitely a spiritual thing for her, and it was remarkable, and I think it's aided to a lot of her improvement, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I
Plus,
love
if,
that.
if Steve goes to Spain, he can go check out Zaragoza.
I know. We've been trying,
Zaragoza?
I've been trying to get him to go since I first dated.
Since I first laid eyes on the boy. All right. Well, I mean, I would love it as soon as the world allows us to enter their other parts of it. I'm sure that can be planned. Anyway, all right. Well, we almost got to 2 hours, you guys. Thank you for listening to the show.
Woohoo.
You heard everything I said. Anybody want to say anything else before we go?
No, let's fuck you out.
Yep, see you later.
Great.
Fuck
All right.
you out.
Thanks for joining us, Owen, and we'll see you guys soon on the First Time Show. Bye.
Bye.